Konnichiwa! Hello, this is Tom, Ghost of Matsubara, your man in Japan, coming at you today with another episode of Kanji Hunter. I do not claim to be the best at kanji. I do not claim to have the best handwriting. I do this because I enjoy it. I have a few English speakers who are learning Japanese as my students, and I am helping to inspire them to write and play with the Japanese language. Anyway, today we are going to look at a kanji that is very versatile, and it makes use of some really... it shows you how to use radicals in a sense. Okay, so we kind of talked about one radical last time, and today we're going to talk about some more. So first, let's look at the kanji that is going to be kind of our root of meaning today, okay? And that is the kanji for temple, all right? Like a Buddhist temple. And in Japanese, that is tera. Tera. The O is honorific. The pronunciation of the kanji is tera. The other pronunciation is ji. Anyway, more on that. So first, I studied. I looked into this, and it's actually very interesting. The modern kanji for temple, Buddhist temple, tera, is like this. On the top, you have the kanji for dirt, tsuchi, and then underneath it, you have this kanji, which can be like, it means like a small measure of something. It's also like used to mean like an adherence of something, but that you need another radical if you do this. Right? That means to adhere to something, like to stick to something, right? All right. But anyway, today we're going to focus on this, okay? And there are two pronunciations of this. Te ra, and the other one is ji. Okay, so this is going to be the root kanji, and we're going to add some radicals to this. But first, before we look at this, I thought this was really interesting because, again, same with English words, over hundreds, thousands of years, whatever, the language changes, right? So actually, the old way that this was written is very interesting. It used to be the kanji for stop over a very ancient way of writing hand. So stop hand. This used to be the old way of writing, and this is the modern way of writing temple. And now stop hand, I guess the meaning kind of meant like to work in a sense. So in Japanese society, especially old Japanese society, not so much now, but in old Japanese society, like the temple was really the center of everything. I mean, they had their school at the temple. It was kind of like their city or local offices. So that old kanji is kind of represents that, like more of like a city office kind of thing. So anyway, over time this changed, okay, and it became the modern kanji as you see today, with like tsuchi on the top and what looks like sun on the bottom. All right, so that's our modern kanji for tera, tera. Okay, temple. Now let's get radical. Now today, for a bit of a change, I have written down a lot of these kanjis beforehand because I know it takes a lot of time, and I'm trying to keep this video within 10 minutes. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, here are some common radicals. Now, these radicals above here, all of these are placed on the left of your main kanji, right? And they change the meaning, right? And these last two here on the bottom, well, this one kind of encloses it in the left, and then this one is put on over it. All right. And as you can see here, we've seen this one before. This one came up when we were studying the one for kotoba or gengo. But anyway, this is the kanji for word, all right, in its radical form. This is the radical for man. We talked about that last time. This is active man, okay? Active man here, all right? This is a modification of the kanji for hand. And this one is cow. This one is sun, all right? Sickness and bamboo. All right, now let's take a look at how this changes the meaning, all right? So first, let's look at word plus otera, right? Now, what are the words of the temple, right? Think about all the Buddhist sutras and stuff, right? The Heart Sutra, the Diamond Sutra, their prayers, they say in Japanese nenbutsu, right? So let's take a look at here. Word, temple, right? And it's pronounced shi. This is poem. In Japanese, this is the kanji they use to represent the idea of poem or poetry, right? The words of the temple are poems. Oh, I love that. That's a great meaning. Moving on. Here. Radical for man and then temple. The man of the temple. Samurai. Right? A lot of times, now I know there's a lot of history here, and in fact there is another kanji that you can write for samurai, but this is actually the cooler one. But you think about it, one of the things that a lot of people would do at the temple is train martial arts, right? So you start to have samurai, all right? A man of a temple, not a priest. I know it's a little bit confusing, but samurai, all right? Cool. This is the one, the kanji for active man, all right? Active man or going man. And here you can see it's next to, this is a hiragana tsu. All right, so this is a Japanese verb, matsu. All right, matsu means to wait. Chotto matte kudasai. Please wait a little bit. Please wait. Chotto matte kudasai. Shosho machi kudasai. All right, so matsu is to wait. All right, and you think about it. What is something that I had to put a little thought into this, and I don't know if I'm right. All right, but you can think about it this way or conceptualize it this way. All right, what is one of the main activities that you do at the temple? Zazen. Zazen. You meditate, right? So meditation is kind of like a form of just waiting, right? You're not doing anything. All right. Now I don't know if I'm completely correct in that that conception of matsu, but that's what's the activity at the temple. What do? You meditate. So that's kind of like a waiting activity. Anyway, moving along. Next is another verb, but this time we have the radical for hand attached to our kanji for temple, and then the hiragana tsu again. This time, though, instead of ma, it's mo. So motsu. Now, motsu means to hold, right? To hold or to have. Kono pen o motteru. Kono pen motteru. I'm holding this pen. All right? I have this pen. Pen o motteru. All right? So there's another good one. Hand, temple, right? And again, I had to put some thought into this, but, right, you could probably keep stuff at the temple back in the day, right? Kind of like the way you would, not necessarily money, but important things, right? You just keep it at the temple for safekeeping. Motte kudasai. All right, so there's another one. Hand plus temple. Now, this next one is pretty cool. All right, the next one uses the radical for cow. Now, I know this is a little bit strange. What is a cow doing at the temple? I am not 100% sure, but I could kind of think that maybe this has to do with sacrifice or offering. Now, there is a different kanji relating to animal sacrifices or offerings to the gods. But if there's a cow at the temple, it might be for that purpose, and therefore it is special because you're going to offer it up to the gods, right? So cow plus temple is toku, special. Tokubetsu desu ne. All right, moving right along. This one is the radical for sun, or the kanji for sun or day, and temple. And this can be pronounced either ji or toki, and it means time. And I guess one way to think about this is, I'm not 100% sure, but the Japanese have these, or the Buddhists, right? They have these great pagodas, these tall pagodas that stand up out of the ground, right? And as the sun is passing over that, it's creating almost like a great sundial, right? You're watching the shadows move across the temple. Time is passing, right? So that's our kanji for time in Japanese. Ji, toki. Nanji desu ka? What time is it? Skip over to bamboo. All right, now that's a strange one. I don't really have too much insight as to why this is what it is, but anyway, the real kanji for bamboo looks kind of like this. That's not the prettiest kanji I ever wrote, okay? But when you turn it into a radical, it kind of shortens like this, all right? And so you put this over the main kanji for temple, and now you have to or nado. And you hear nado quite often, and it means etc. Nado, all right? Etc., right? But it does also have a couple other meanings. You don't often see it like this, but usually when Japanese are writing and they pluralize something, they put ra at the end of it. And most times they just write it in hiragana, all right? Karera, they, right? Kare is he, karera is they, right? Oh, and it also can be used to designate class, order, or rank. And you'll see this more in line with like military stuff, right? One of my favorite kanji, my current favorite anime and manga is Golden Kamui, and it's an amazing story. But anyway, most of the characters are in some way related to the Russo-Japanese War, and so they're war veterans, and a lot of their names have this kanji in there, Ichidono. And stuff like that. I mean, like lieutenant. I'm not really good at the military words. But anyway, so it has that meaning. Now, here's our comedy for the day. All right? So, I had to look this one up, but it is pretty funny. Okay, now, the radical for sickness. And now you'll see this very often where it's this kind of, it's an enclosure type of radical. But anyway, you enclose this main kanji for temple, and it's G, and this means hemorrhoids. Oh! Hemorrhoids suck. Why would they say this to represent hemorrhoids? I had to look into this, and the reason is apparently ancient Japanese doctors, when looking at a patient's hemorrhoids, thought they looked like little pagodas or little temples sticking out of a person's arse. And so they decided to represent it this way. Ji, oshiri no ji. That means the temples on your butt. Alright, so anyway. Radicals! They're so cool! And kanji, it's so cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed this episode. And I hope you learned something. If you have a kanji that you would like me to explore, or you want to see me write, or you want to hear me talk about, please contact me on Twitter or Instagram at Kanji_Hunter. Or you can get me on Facebook at Kanji Hunter Official. Or you can send me an email on Gmail, tomsenseinu@gmail.com. And see you next time. Until then, mata ne.